Good afternoon, and welcome back to Asgard, and welcome to the second episode of our Direwolf 20 1.10 Let's Play series. So, since last episode, I've done a bit of cleaning up. You'll notice that we actually moved to the little outer cave. This used to be, actually this was set up kind of the same and had the pillar in the middle. Just a temporary little home. This is where the house used to be. What I've done is I've set up some farms here, and instead of having to use water, I'm just using worms from actually additions, because these worms, you'll get them by hoeing the ground. You'll have a chance to get them, and they will hydrate any crops in a 3x3 around them, and they'll also keep it tilled, and they'll also increase crop growth speed. So they're very, very handy. Definitely suggest those if you're setting up a farm. And then I've also done a bunch of mining. We've got a bunch of resources in there and a bunch of resources in here. And I've got all this linked up with transfer nodes. So, we throw the items in there, they go through, they get crushed, then they go through to a buffer, and then they get smelted and then into a buffer. So that way, it's a little bit more automated. And I went ahead and changed over a few of these because we're going to want a bit of redstonia crystals and anori crystals today. And what I want to do is I want to use these heat collectors that we talked about a little bit last episode, but I want to semi-automate lava collection to do that. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and get ourselves a drum, just a normal iron drum. They're still made the same way, so in that, we'll just use that to store lava. And then the next thing that I want is a little bit more expensive, but it is a pump from ranged pumps. So it's going to be some obsidian, iron pickaxes, a water bucket, which I've got water right over here. And then I've already got some lava as well. And this thing, I did test it earlier because by default the pump doesn't actually require power, but they do allow in the configs to set it to where it does require power, and it is set in this pack to require power, which is fine. That makes sense to me. So what we're going to do, we're also going to want a lever, because this does require a redstone signal in order to run. And then I'm also going to want transfer node, liquid transfer node. So just stone and redstone, and I've got right here, I've got that. So let's get that. And these do craft 4 at a time now, which is great. Before you could craft them 4 at a time if you used an ender pearl, but now it's just by default 4 at a time. So they're fairly cheap. But anyway, I'm going to head down. I'm going to find us a place to... Oh, you know what? I forgot to get something that could provide power. So for right now, I'm just going to use one of our coal generators. Probably the one over here on the atomic reconstructor, because I don't think we'll be needing that, and then we'll just grab some coal. But I want to move away from coal-based power because we've actually been running through a lot of coal. I've used probably a stack and a half to do all my smelting and crushing and all of that stuff since last episode. So anyway, I'll be back once I find a good suitable lava pit for us. Okay, I think right here is going to be suitable. There's a nice little river here. So what we'll do is we'll set our pump down. It doesn't actually have to go into the lava or even be above the lava. Basically what it's going to do is it's going to search anywhere below it, and that's where it's going to be pulling from. So, and it's like I think 128 blocks by default range, something like that. So it's a decent amount of range. And then we'll set up our transfer nodes, because this doesn't automatically output. And we'll set our iron drum there. And our transfer pipe. And then this does require a redstone signal, but keep in mind if you're using these transfer nodes, they actually shut off with a redstone signal, so you're going to want to indirectly apply the signal. So we're going to do it like right here, I think. And it has no energy, of course, so we'll just set up our coal generator like right here and start running that. So we should see it Yeah, it's draining right now. Or it's attempting to drain. It's going to go through and scan all the blocks. So sometimes it takes it a minute to actually find what it's looking for. But we'll give it just a second for it to start finding some lava for us. Okay, I went ahead and chunk loaded that area and decided we'd come on back up and work on the next thing that we're going to be doing, which is actually going to be utilizing that lava. So what we're going to do is, let's go to actually additions. We're going to need a number of things from this. First up, a heat collector. We'll go ahead, we'll just make one for now, or the heat collector. What this does is this is going to generate RF when it has at least 4 pieces of lava around its sides. Or at least 4 sides. So what we're going to do, let's set it up. We'll set it up in here. It should be far enough back that it's not going to burn anything. Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect that bad. Okay, I'm going to grab this copper actually. I've got a ton of it, like an absolute ton of this copper. This stuff is very, very common, but we'll set it up back here, and then the next thing that I want is I want to go ahead and get a few of these fluid placers. So we're going to need basic coils and Pally's crystal. Pally's crystal is just lapis. So I'm going to go ahead and make a block of it, because we're going to need 4 of it, and it's one of those things, like, we'll end up using it, I'm sure, so. And then, let me go ahead and turn that off. Fluid placer, and this way it's just automated. I mean, you could easily do this manually, but we'll go ahead and get this automated today. So we got our fluid placers and we got our heat collector, and now the next thing that I want is we could use transfer nodes, but we could also use fluid laser relays. Oh, honestly, these are a little bit expensive to do. The relays, I think, right now. So transfer nodes are just cheaper, and I don't want to like churn through, because I would need, what, 5 of these? So that would be 6 pieces of redstone and a bunch of, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. We'll just use transfer nodes. So let me get, yeah, we've got everything we need. So what we'll do is we'll put our fluid placers, let's see, we'll have it come out. It'll be setting like right here, I think. So what we'll do is we'll put a fluid placer here, and we'll put a fluid placer here, and then we'll do one right back here, and then under the ground here. Yeah, that's what I want. And then we'll put our heat collector right here. So now what we can do is we can just do that. We'll need to connect up transfer pipes to all of this. So, by the way, these craft 64 at a time, so they've changed it and made transfer nodes and transfer pipes and everything so much cheaper now. Like, it's, you know, it's hard to bring myself to use anything else when they're so cheap. Okay, so we've got all of those surrounded, and then what we'll do is we'll just bring this stuff up, set it up like this. Yeah, that should be all sealed in, and then just this one. And we'll put that there. Okay, that's good enough. It doesn't have to look great right now. This is just easy, cheap power. And then all we need to do is get our lava. So let me run down, and that should, by now that should have lava built up in there. Okay, so we've got a drum now, and it's got 54,600, so that'll be fine to get us started. I'll probably go set up another one down there, because that pump has, I want to say it's like 32 buckets of internal storage, or an internal buffer, and then after that, you know, it's going to fill up. So we'll go ahead and get this plugged up, and we should, if we take a look in here, there we go. It's dropping lava, and it's gonna keep dropping lava if the spot there in front of it is emptied. So once this gets lava on all four sides, it's gonna take a second because the transfer node has to, of course, send the lava around, and the transfer nodes really aren't all that fast at the moment. We can upgrade these, but we're gonna have to get into extra utilities power. Basically, more or less, it's power. So what we can do to go ahead and help speed it up is let's just grab a bucket. I think I used up all of mine crafting. We'll just get a bucket and kind of jumpstart the system here a little bit. So we'll throw down a little bit of lava there. And a little bit there. And you'll notice that now this is generating power down there at the bottom left. And it generates, I want to say it's like 40 a tick or something like that. It's not too bad. And of course we can keep adding these if we want to. And the nice thing about this heat collector is it doesn't consume the lava block 100% of the time. It's actually very uncommon for it to consume the lava block. So it's only, I believe, a 0.01% chance per tick that it's going to consume that. So eventually it will, but you'll notice that it's got that 30,000 RF in no time. So what we're going to want to do now, I think, is let's get a few things here. I've got redstone. I'll grab some iron. And I want to get a capacitor bank, because it's probably the best, just a basic capacitor bank. It's probably the best energy storage available to us right this second. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, copper and gold nuggets. And there we go. So we'll just go ahead and set this up for right now. Can I set it here? Yes. Okay. So it's getting, well, of course it's draining the power out of that. Okay, yeah, 40 RF a tick is what this produces, which isn't great, but honestly, for free, pretty much passive power for us at the moment, that's great. I love it. So now I want to go ahead and set up a way to actually move this power around our base. Our little area here anyway. So what we're going to do is we are going to use actually additions again. Now you could do something like power pipes or something. It would probably be cheaper. But we're going to use the energy laser relays because they look cool. And I like them. That's our reasoning. So let's get some obsidian. And we're going to need some advanced coils. And I think we're all set. Oh, I need more redstone, don't I? Another block of redstone, please. And more of these. Okay, so now that we got those, we're also going to want to grab ourselves... Let me find it here. It's a wrench. There it is. The laser wrench. So we're going to need some Anori crystal and some advanced coil again. Okay. And there's our laser wrench. And this is basically used to configure these energy laser relays. Alright. We're going to tell this to output on the top. And we'll set up our energy laser relay right here. And then we'll set up another one right over here. Let's get rid of this thing. We don't want that power anymore. And we'll just link those two up. And you'll notice it starts sending bursts of power over. And it's going to keep that topped off, which is great. Okay, we're losing 13 RF. That's fine. We'll probably have to expand the lava setup, but I don't mind. And then we'll link these two up. And then lastly, we'll link up these two. So now we got power, and it's just going to spread out, and we can add, you know, stuff all around the room, and it's going to make just a circuit where all this is connected. And they, honestly, as far as the logistics of it, it works a lot like the Draconic Evolution power transfer. So, of course, right now our power generation doesn't really keep up. What I might do, just kind of as a backup, if we need it, is we'll set our coal generators like right here. So if we want to, we can always throw some coal in that and get that running. But yeah, that works. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do just really quickly before we end out the episode is I want to mess around with the iron backpack mod. This is a fairly new mod, and it is wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful. If you haven't seen it, basically it adds these backpacks, and there's different tiers. Initially, you'll just have the basic backpack, so let's go ahead and craft this one really, really quick. It's not a terribly special one, but it leads into some great things. Absolutely great things. Let me get a piece of leather. I know my inventory is terrible. I had to go out and get wool, because before I'd only gotten 3 pieces of wool, just enough to get my bed. Alright, so we got our first backpack. Now you'll notice it only has a few slots. It's really not, all that outstanding. If you notice here, it says we have 0 out of 6 upgrade points used, 0 out of 3 configurable upgrades used, and 0 out of 1 additional upgrade points added. But we're going to go ahead and upgrade this. Now, whenever you upgrade tiers, you can either go for a storage emphasis or an upgrade emphasis. So I think this first one, we're going to go ahead and go storage emphasis. So what we're going to need to do is add a chest and then just iron around it. So let's get another one of these. Because I think for our initial backpack, it's more important to have a lot of storage in it than it be really configurable. But we'll end up playing with the more configured stuff later on. So we got our storage emphasis iron backpack. Now you'll notice we have a bit more slots available to us. And we can go ahead if we want to and upgrade this again. And we'll probably go storage emphasis once more and add in the gold to it. Let me actually throw some of this crap away. It's too much crap. And we'll get ourselves a chest. You'll notice that the upgrades are still going up, so we have 0 out of 8 right now. And the Gilded Age achievement. So now we actually have a fairly decent sized backpack. Now there is an additional level, which is the diamond tier, but it is a bit more expensive. We don't have the diamonds. No, okay. I didn't think so. Plus we don't really need it right this second. But what you can do is you can craft upgrades for this. And like for example, I want the precise quick deposit upgrade, and this is going to take a quick deposit and some sticky pistons. Oh, sticky pistons. Okay. Well, quick deposit is paper and pistons. You know what? I don't even think I have paper. Okay. Now let me go find some sugarcane. I'll be back in just a second. That's one thing I haven't managed to find yet. Okay, I think what we're going to do to fix our slime ball problem is we're actually going to get some of this rice. And we'll get some rice seeds and then some rice. And what we're going to do is let's get a little bit more of that. We can take this rice and we can craft it up into rice dough. And then what we're going to want 4 pieces of that. So give me a minute. I'm going to get some more rice and try to find some sugar canes. I'm still looking for those. Okay, well, our slime problem is fixed. We have a slime island that's just raining slimes down on me here. Okay, so I've got slime balls now. I've got more than that. I've got them actually in here. But I'll go ahead and show you what I was going to do. Is if you take and get 4 pieces of this rice dough and then do it like that with a water bucket, you'll get rice slime balls. And these work interchangeably with standard slime balls. The paper. There's our quick deposit, and then we'll get our rice slime balls. Might as well go ahead and use them up. And we'll get our precise quick deposit. Now what you can do is you can just put your backpack in there and add this, and you'll get a precise quick deposit upgraded golden backpack, which is awesome. And the way this works is if this has items in it, let's say we throw some iron, some gold nuggets, and maybe like some stone and andesite, cobblestone, granite, that kind of stuff. If we go up, like for example, this chest has iron and different things in it. If we go up and we just shift right click this, you'll notice that our iron that was in this backpack and our Inori crystals and stuff that already were present within this got thrown in there, but not these other blocks. So then if I come over here and shift right click this one, you'll notice it pulled out the andesite and stuff. And then if I come over here and shift right click that, it pulled the cobblestone out. And then, of course, smooth stone we don't have anywhere, so I'm just going to throw that in there. But it makes it really, really nice because you can you know, just have it dump items out. And then another thing that I want to get is a filter. Let's see. So let's get this mining filter upgrade. So we're going to need an upgrade core. And then we're going to want this. Okay, and so if we shift, whoops, not shift. If we throw this stuff into here, we'll now have a mining filter upgrade added to it. And you'll notice that now we have 6 out of 10 upgrade points and 1 out of 3 configurable upgrades. And we can add an additional upgrade point if we use this upgrade right here. So right now we haven't added that. So we have 1 slot for that. But you'll notice that we can add... this one just takes emeralds, and it's going to give us an extra upgrade slot if we need it. But anyway, now if we shift right click this, we can actually set a name to this. So we're going to say ores and stuff. And we'll name it. And so now it's called ores and stuff. And if we look at the backpack, it's called ores and stuff. And then we can set a mining filter upgrade. So by default, if I'm out mining and say... let's get like a few of these things. And say this stuff drops on the ground. You'll notice it picks up, and it actually picks up quietly. And we've got lapis and amber in here. And let's say cobblestone falls. You'll notice it just goes back into my inventory. But what I can do is I can use the mining filter upgrade and say, grab that. And so now if I throw this cobble on the ground, it goes into here. So we can set specific, like, special things into that and have them, you know, automatically go in there. Now, another thing that I want to add really, really quickly before we end out the episode is I want to do a compression upgrade. Now, this takes bone blocks and then bone meal. Yeah, we're going to need a bit of bone meal for this, which is fine. I've got bones. I don't know if the crusher... okay, it can. I was thinking it could. Compression upgrade. And then we're just going to add this into our backpack. So now we're using 9 out of 10 of our upgrades. So this is, you know, we're getting fairly close to not being able to use, put anything else on this. But what we can do is we can configure this, and we're going to say you're going to compress cobblestone. And you're also going to pick up cobblestone. So what's going to happen is now if I grab this cobblestone, you'll notice that it gets compressed into compressed cobblestone. And then the extra goes right over here. So now if I was to say pick up one more piece, that's going to get compressed, and now we have 2 blocks of compressed cobblestone. So normally I would just void cobblestone, but you know, if we're going to be mining it, we may as well compress it anyway. And then if we wanted to, I believe we could take it a step further and say compressed cobblestone. And so now what would happen is if we picked up a bunch of cobblestone, and you don't have to be holding the backpack, I just do that out of habit, you'll notice that now whenever it gets 9 compressed cobblestone, it'll then take that, compress it again, and we'll get double compressed cobblestone. So, you know, this way cobblestone's not really going to clutter up our inventory. At most, we're going to have 3 stacks probably. I don't see myself getting a full stack of double compressed cobblestone, but you know, anytime that I'm out mining. But this way we can actually get cobblestone and it not just clutter the hell out of our inventory, because normally I'll have like 5 or 6 stacks of cobble and it drives me absolutely insane. So we may set up the same stuff. Another thing that I would like to have compressed is, like, say, redstone. Also lapis. Those are 2 things that generally will clutter up your inventory a lot. So we'll go ahead and tell that, you know, if it's got 9 of that, go ahead and compress that, so that we don't end up with too much of that stuff just cluttering up our inventory. So, honestly, this backpack's going to make my life a whole lot easier, because I would make like 3 or 4 iron picks, and I go down there and start mining, and then like a pick and a half, I'd be like, man, my inventory's full. Got to come all the way back up here. Well, now, this backpack with just a little bit of work is super, super effective at keeping our inventory down. And, you know, we might add other things into this, like, say, granite or stone, or, I mean, granite or andesite, diorite, that kind of thing. Also maybe mob drops, you know. We could do all kinds of stuff with this. And another really nice thing about these backpacks is, of course, you can have additional ones on you, all with different upgrades. You can also nest these into each other, and there's actually specific upgrades for nesting. So if we take a look here at, let me find it here, the nesting upgrade and advanced nesting upgrade. Basically, the nesting one is going to allow you to place any backpack of a previous tier inside the backpack. And then the advanced nesting upgrade allows you to place any tier inside the backpack. Okay, it's this depth upgrade. If you put this onto a backpack, it will allow any nested backpacks to have their full functionality, so their filters, their restocking, their compression, etc. And it says it only works in backpacks nested once, no infinite nesting, but that's fine. You also, by the way, have filters here, so you can do basic filters, fuzzy filters, or dictionary, mod specific, void, like all kinds of things that you can add onto this. So we will definitely be looking into that stuff moving forward. But right now I am fairly happy with this backpack. And keep in mind that as this gets stuff, we can still shift right click and dump everything into that. So maybe like this compressed cobble, you know, we might throw that in there. And so now if we were to, you know, go out and get a bunch of this cobblestone, it's going to compress it for us, and then we can just come up, shift right click, and there's all of our compressed cobble. And honestly, it's kind of a good automatic compressing system, because the crafting and stuff is automatic and whatnot. So if you have like a drawer full of cobble, you can just, you know, shift left click, and all that's going to go in there and get compressed for you automatically. So but anyway, I'm going to end out the episode there. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure and hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And sorry that the episode ran a little bit long today, but I wanted to show you guys that backpack because I definitely wanted to have one before, you know, while I'm getting ready for next episode. So, but next episode we will be going to the Nether and doing Tinker's Constructs, because I want to start diving into that and show you guys the changes to that mod and everything, especially starting out. It's not major changes, it still works pretty well the same way, but I do want to get started with that mod. And also I believe we have armor. Well, okay, we don't have armor plus. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so next episode we'll be getting into TC and the Nether. So I hope you guys join me for that, and until then, as always, do take care, and I hope to see you guys next time.